Welcome to tonight's Foreignworlds event, and thank you so much for attending.
My name is Nelly, and I spent my semester abroad in Finland.
And I'm Leni, and I spent my semester abroad in Scotland, and we're going to lead you through tonight's event.
We are both in our 5th semester, and so are our peers who we have organized this event with. Foreignworlds is a yearly event that is meant as a closing to our study course, where we can put all of our cultural knowledge into one big event and share some of this knowledge with you. The goal is to tell you about our experiences before, during, and after our semester abroad.
We want to reduce fears and create awareness for stereotypes and give you more confidence and knowledge in this topic so you don't repeat our mistakes when you are in an intercultural situation.
Our motto for this year's event is building bridges together. And as you can see in the back, this bridge will actually be built right here. Tonight's event is also divided into 5 chapters.
Each of them will contribute a part to our bridge, which symbolizes a connection between you, the audience, and us as experts in our study course. You're standing on one riverside, and we are on the other. That river that flows between us stands for the challenges and problems that we have encountered over the course of the past years. And crossing this river has given us a wealth of experience.
Tonight we want to use this experience to build the bridge together with you by sharing what we have learned, so that you can navigate your way through your studies more confidently and successfully cross the river. We will start out with our preparation for our semester abroad, whether that was through having different wishes or goals or maybe even worries. Then we will continue with a short talk where some of our fellow students will give us some insight on some experiences that they had. And then tonight's event will close with us sharing some of our most important learnings and experiences that we had, and this bridge being fully built.
To kick off our chapter 1, we went back to the time where we started to plan our semester abroad. We thought back to our fears and to our worries and wondered if we were the only people who had those at the time. And for tonight, we have asked some fellow students from different study courses about their expectations and worries and fears, because right now they are planning their semester abroad.
Now you will see 4 interviews that were held in preparation, and maybe you can even recognize some of your own fears and worries in them.
I expect to meet new people and also learn about a new culture, but that's probably my biggest worry because I'm afraid because of the language barrier that I'm not able to communicate good enough with the people to meet friends or make friends, and probably like miscommunication could be one of the biggest worries I have.
So I'm going to France and I'm very looking forward to discovering new places, cities. I want to go to Paris, of course, and yeah, I want to do some cool stuff like shopping and going to some small cafes, and I'm also looking forward to get to know some new people from other countries. But I'm also scared that I will be alone because I'm living here together with my boyfriend. I think I will miss him very, very much. And yes, I think that's my biggest fear.
For my semester abroad, I'm really looking forward for finding new friends, to find more about the British culture because I'm going to England. I think one of the biggest fears I'm really looking forward for finding new friends, to find more about the British culture because I'm going to England. I think one of the biggest fears right now is the paper stuff and all the organization things I have to do from Germany. I guess it's the usual thing that you don't find connections.
And then just going to such a metropolitan and huge city like Seoul, I think I do have some expectations. I'm looking forward to the food, to be very honest. But yeah, also, of course, I'm looking forward to new experiences. I think one thing that's especially difficult, I believe, is not seeing the friends I made here for so long. Because to be very honest, like, I kind of, they take up a lot of space in my heart.
As you could see, even through the disruptions, some students are worried about bureaucracy and paperwork. And that is because us as Germans often find safety and comfort in a lot of documents because they give us something to grasp onto. And because we often have the subconscious stereotypes that other cultures don't have the same affinity for paperwork as we do, it is normal that we feel scared and maybe even unprepared.
The fears that you just heard about were all fears that we also experienced before our semesters abroad. It is normal to feel scared about being alone and even not getting on with other locals or even Erasmus students. But knowing about cultural differences and how to handle intercultural interactions can help reduce this anxiety, and it can make you feel less overwhelmed. Furthermore, talking to other people about these anxieties can make you also feel less overwhelmed, and maybe you can even make use of the other person's cultural knowledge. Me personally, for example, I was really scared of coming across as rude because we learned so much about intercultural intelligence and how to behave in these situations that I felt like I couldn't really do it right. But once I was in Finland, I realized that if you're just nice and open-minded, it's so much easier than expected.
At the end of the night, we hope that you all feel more comfortable and less scared about going abroad. And now we're already at the end of chapter 1, so let's put our first brick on our bridge.
We've now finished our first chapter, and we're now officially in chapter 2. For our second chapter, we've invited Mrs. Jill Deschner-Warner. She's our lecturer for international management, and she will be able to tell us a little bit more about the theoretical backgrounds of stereotypes and prejudices.
Please join us on stage now.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
It's
for
an
the
honor.
invitation. Thank you.
And we will leave you the stage and wish you a lot of fun.
Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. I would like to start with just a simple question before we begin. Think about the last time that you met someone. Maybe it was today, yesterday, possibly over the weekend. And let's think about before they even spoke, before they said anything, before you really knew anything about them, had you already prepared in your mind an impression that you had? If you did, you're not failing at being open-minded, you're just being human. And that is the instant judgment, is what we call a stereotype, a type of a stereotype. And tonight, I would like to talk with you about the origins of stereotypes and prejudices. Where do they come from? Why are they so persistent? And why understanding these origins matter. especially in the academic area and in multicultural workplaces. So where do stereotypes begin? I would like to begin with the academic backbone of this. One of the most influential scholars to study prejudice was Gordon Allport, a social psychologist who wrote and researched in the 20th century. And from his research, he has made still the foundational importance because he made crucial distinction. One crucial distinction that he made is that he argued that having assumptions is not the same as being prejudiced. We all rely on prior knowledge to understand the world. The problem begins, though, when those assumptions become fixed in our minds, and when we refuse to revise them. This word revise you'll hear me say often in the next few minutes. Even when we encounter new information. Allport said that prejudgments become prejudices only when they are not reversed. Only when they are not reversed. This idea matters because it removes moral defensiveness. Prejudice isn't about being a bad person. It's about how flexible or how rigid our thinking is. From an academic perspective, we have just now started with our first origin. Stereotypes begins as cognitive tools, but prejudice emerges when those tools hardens. This leads us from theory to psychology. So why are stereotypes so hard to change? This is where David Lauscher's work bridges theory and psychology. Lauscher explains that stereotypes are mental shortcuts. Our brain evolved to categorize quickly, to make generalizations, to decide who belongs, to decide who is familiar, or who even might be a threat. And the brain naturally creates in-groups and out-groups. What's interesting, but also dangerous about these in-groups and out-groups is that we see people in our in-group as very complex, interesting people. But in our out-groups, we find them to be interchangeable. We don't consciously choose to do this. It just happens automatically. Lauscher also highlighted a key psychological point. When someone from an out-group behaves negatively, we blame the person or their character. But when someone from our in-group behaves negatively, we blame the situation, not the person or the character. This helps explain why stereotypes persist, even among educated, well-intentioned people like you and I. They are maintained by cognitive efficiency and not by hatred. So our second origin now becomes clear. Stereotypes are reinforced by the way our brain simplifies social reality. But the brain isn't the whole story, and stereotypes don't exist in vacuums. Historically, many stereotypes were produced and reinforced by social systems, especially when power was unequal. Even today, we see this. Certain groups were described as inferior, dangerous, incapable, not because it was true, but because those ideas justified exclusion, justified exploitation, and it also justified control. And over time, these narratives became normalized through education, through media, and also even science. This means prejudice is not just individual, it is structured and it is inherited. And this help explains why stereotypes can feel natural for us, even when they are learned. They are passed down culturally and not discovered personally. So why does this even matter? Well, it matters in many ways. Whether at the university, at your workplace, at a student exchange, or even in our daily interactions, stereotypes still operate, often quietly. They influence who we listen to, who we trust, and how we perceive others. We stereotype academic disciplines. We stereotype political views. We stereotype nationalities. We stereotype social groups. But the important thing that I want to pinpoint here is that what Albright and Losher together teach us is this: stereotypes is human. Stereotyping is human. Prejudice is avoidable. And awareness creates responsibility. And this awareness can come from student exchange programs. Education does not eliminate assumptions, but what it does give us is the ability to revise them. I would like to end on a personal note. There is a philosophical idea that echoes much of what psychology and theory tells us. And it comes from Don Miguel Ruiz, who emphasizes being careful with the assumptions we make and how personally we take them. I became aware of Don Miguel Ruiz through my father. He gave me this book many years ago, The Four Agreements, and this book taught me something that's very simple but very lasting. That assumptions often say more about the person making them than about the person receiving them. And understanding these origins of stereotypes from our brain, from our history, or even through our language, it gives us a choice. In a situation, we can react automatically, or we have the choice to pause, reflect, and revise. And that pause is the important part here. That pause is the willingness to question what we think we know. And that is where prejudice begins to lose its power. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this very nice talk. We have some more questions for you, though.
Okay.
Because as far as I remember, your husband is German, and you came here quite a few years ago. Were there any stereotypes that you had about Germans when you came here?
Oh, yes. There were stereotypes I had. I think it's been 20 years, but the stereotypes I had was, yes, very structured, very, I want to use the word cold, but maybe not so much laughter. Very conservative, but I must say, it has definitely melted away, and those stereotypes are actually wrong. And it's been 20 years, so yeah.
That's nice.
And to kind of turn the question around, did you notice that Germans had any prejudices against you when they found out that you were from the USA?
I wouldn't generalize all Germans, but yes, I did encounter this quite often through when someone found out that I was from America, they then wouldn't greet or give me the hand, or parents in my son's school or people I've worked with. I've had that, but again, I don't, not everyone, no. Just those few people, but that's like that everywhere.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the talk, especially.
Yes.
And thank you for the very valuable input.
And we now, of course, invite you to put our second brick onto the bridge.
Thank you. There you go.
Thank you.
And with that, the second part of our bridge has been built. And now that we know more about stereotypes and prejudices in theory, we want to build the bridge connecting theory to our experiences, and we will do this in the following talk. Mats. invited Bella, Chen, and Joshua, who I now welcome to join me on stage. Welcome. Hello. Please sit down. Thank you. All of them have taken different actions to put themselves into their first intercultural situations and to overcome some of their first anxieties. And of course, these experiences had an impact on their own prejudices and stereotypes. Bella has participated in the buddy program of the University of Mittweida, where she supported international students from the USA and the Philippines. Chen is a Chinese exchange student who is currently studying here in Mittweida. And Joshua is the former head of the Cosmo Club, where he helped organize events and fostered connections between Germans and international students. Now, to begin our talk, Bella, when you found out where your buddies were from, how did you feel about that?
So, first of all, I felt very excited and extremely nervous to meet new people with completely new perspectives. I really tried to stay open-minded and tried to not form any stereotypes. But I failed with that because when I knew that my buddy was a girl from the USA, I expected someone straight out of a high school movie, so extremely confident and kind of annoyingly demanding. But meeting her instantly proved me how wrong my stereotype was, and also that real-life conversations can break down such assumptions much faster than anything else.
Thank you. And through this experience, what have you learned about yourself and your way of handling cultural differences?
So I think I have become more flexible in my communication and also far more comfortable asking clarifying questions instead of staying quiet as I often used to do. I also approach intercultural differences with greater empathy and calmness, which has made interactions feel more natural over time. And I think the most important thing I have learned is to be okay with uncertainty and that I try to meet unfamiliar situations not with hesitation, but kind of with curiosity of what I can learn from it.
Thank you. I think that's a very valuable lesson, what you've mentioned, about being okay with being unprepared, essentially. Chen, why did you choose to come to Germany for studying abroad?
Okay, so first of all, because Germany has a very good educational system, and also it has a good reputation and well recognized. Secondly, it's more personally because the educational fee here is free, and the living cost here is affordable to me. So yeah, that's the reasons.
Okay, very interesting. When you came here, or even before coming here, did you have any fears or prejudices about German people?
To be honest, before I come into Germany, I do really concern about the AfD, the extreme right wings, and because as a foreigner here, I do afraid of the hatred behavior. But actually, the situation, when I actually live in here, the situation is not as what I fear of. So it's better than I expected.
I'm glad that that's the case for you. And what advice would you give to someone who's going abroad?
Well, my advice is be confident and well prepared. So if you are confident, you have the courage to face the problems, and then you can solve it. And well prepared means if you are going to a foreign land, I think the most important thing is to learn the language, because with the language, then you can make a better connection with the people, and then it's better for you to start your life here.
Thank you. I think that's very good advice. Joshua, before you came here to study, you spent some time abroad living in Latvia. In what ways have your intercultural experiences there influenced your preparation for your semester abroad?
So the living abroad in Latvia before has made me really, really much more confident in going abroad a second time. It made me more aware of the differences in cultural behavior, so that I, as a foreigner in another country, have to adapt more and have to step back a bit and don't make everything about myself, but approach people and be more open-minded to new things and to new experiences.
Thank you. When you started being part of the Cosmo Club, you came in contact with a lot of different cultures. In the beginning, did you have any expectations?
So I didn't really have big expectations, but I really wanted to meet new cultures. I really wanted to meet new people, and I wanted to make new friends from different cultures and actually live those cultures with them here in Germany.
Thank you so much for your input as well. And thank you all for sharing your experiences with us here tonight. As you can see, everyone has stereotypes and expectations when they meet new people from a different culture. And that is why it's so important to stay open-minded and to improve intercultural understanding to ensure clear communication. And as you may have also noticed, the University of Mittweida offers a lot of different ways how you can connect with people from a different culture, like the Cosmo Club or the Buddy Program or the semester abroad in itself. And now it's time for the third brick of our bridge, because stepping out of your comfort zone and to try and become more culturally intelligent is another very important step. And for that, I would ask Chen to place our third brick. Thank you very much. And every bridge needs a name. And maybe you've noticed that our bridge currently doesn't have one. And this is why, in the next part, we have to decide a name for our bridge. And we will do this by playing a little game where Joshua, Chen, and Bella will stay on stage here and fight for the win as well. Please stand up. We are now entering our third chapter, where we will not only finally decide a name for our bridge, but also confront the players with experiences that may or may not have happened abroad. And because this game is going to be a bit fast-paced, I'd like to ask Nelly to join me on stage again. She will explain the game's rules and introduce some new and exciting contestants.
Hello. So we will now play a game called the Expectation Buzzer. And since we already know quite a lot about these three people here on stage, because we've already talked to them, we would like to invite two new fresh faces on stage who we don't know anything about yet. So we would like to invite Helene and Johann on stage. Hello. So this game will not only give us some interesting insights, but it will also help us to find a name for our bridge, as Leni already mentioned. Our goal is to build a bridge that can connect cultures. And a part of connecting cultures is that some situations can happen that feel absolutely overwhelming and unexpected to us. During the game, we will explain some of those situations to the contestants, and they will have to try and think whether the situation has actually happened or not. Then they will try to press the buzzer and name their guess, but only the first one to press the buzzer is allowed to name their guess. If the answer is right, they get a point, but if the answer is wrong, they will lose a point. Yeah, our bridge will get whatever name the winner of the game in the end chooses. So, as you've heard, we will now read out some sentences, and the contestants will have to press the buzzer and say whether they've happened or if they were made up by us.
Our first situation is as follows. One of our fellow students was constantly stopped in the street, asked for photos, and treated like a movie star. Do you think something like that happened? 3, 2, 1, go.
It's okay. Please don't go.
Helene, you pressed the buzzer first. Do you think this is true or false?
I think it's true.
You would be correct. You get a point now.
You get a point.
Yay! Thank
Congratulations.
So, as for our second question, one of our fellow students experienced that strangers greeted them with hugs even though they had never met before. Do you think this is true or false? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, Joshua, do you think this is true or false?
So I think it's true.
Oh, you're wrong. This is false. You don't get a point now. That's sad.
Our next situation. One of our fellow students arrived on time to a meeting and was considered rude because everyone else came much later. Do you think this is true or false? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh no, Bella.
Bella.
I tried.
Chen, it's your turn. Do you think this is true or false?
I think it's true.
I'm sorry, it's false. You don't get a point.
Need to make a little more points, everyone. Bella.
Yeah.
Especially you.
Girl power, so run faster.
I will run.
Next question. One of our fellow students noticed that their host was offended because they finished all the food on their plate. Do you think this is true or false? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, Johan, do you think this is true or false?
I suppose it's false.
And you would be correct with that. Congratulations, you now get one of those wonderful stickers here. Oh, I chose a gray one. That's not a good choice, but whatever.
Our next situation is, one of our fellow students received direct comments about their appearance from strangers, and this was completely normal there. Do you think this is true or false? 3, 2, 1, go. Joshua.
You see how serious this is.
Okay, so my mic got sadly distracted. I hope you can still hear me, everyone. I think this time this is really, really true, and I hope I'm correct.
It is correct. You get a point.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I'm going to give you a point. This actually happened to someone in South Korea. Okay. For the next question. One of our fellow students learned that they were expected to refuse a gift several times before accepting it. Do you think this is true or false? 3, 2, 1, go. Bella, what?
I didn't know that.
Faster! Just press it. It's not think, it's knowing. You have to know.
You can't be wrong, really.
Wait, who was first? It was you, Chen, right?
Yes.
Do you think this is true or false?
I think it's true.
It's actually true.
Yeah.
Congrats!
Finally.
Wait, let me give you one of those beautiful hearts here.
Thanks.
Okay. Our next situation is, one of our fellow students found out that making direct eye contact was considered disrespectful in that culture. Do you think this is the case somewhere? 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm sorry. No, it's fine.
I think it's clear that Helene got this round. So please, do you think this is true or false?
Okay, I think it's false.
You would be correct.
Yay.
You're the first one to get 2 points.
And you get
Congratulations.
Silver one with that. Faster. Run. Okay, and now for our last question. This is actually really interesting. Someone got offered 10 glasses of beer for sharing a German sourdough recipe. Do you think this is true or false? 3, 2, 1, and go.
I don't know the answer, but it sounds
At least you
false.
ran.
It sounds false to me.
Bella, this is true. I wanted to give you a heart.
I know. Okay.
Next time.
Well,
Next time.
so, who's the winner of our... Helena is the winner of our game. So, Helena will now get the honor to choose the name for a bridge. But actually, we're going to have another talk just right now, and Helena is going to stay with us. So I would propose that she takes some more time to actually think of a good name, and we don't rush her. So as we have learned right now, cultural education is not just optional. If you don't know how foreigners are treated in your exchange country, situations can easily become overwhelming, and it can make you feel anxious, and you won't feel good in your exchange country. This is why we can now build a third part of the bridge, because preparation is key.
But we've also learned that empathy is key. And since Bella didn't win the game, but won a heart in the process, we now invite her to place the next brick. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please place the brick. We noticed, that's why you get the brick.
Sorry.
Thank you. Dass Sie trotzdem einen Sticker haben, einen Ehrensticker. So, thank you so much, Joshua, Chen, and Bella, for participating in the game and also for sharing some valuable information with us earlier. We will now say goodbye to you because we've already heard so much from you. But you two, Joshua and Helena, we did hear some crazy stories right now, but there's actually quite a lot of more crazy stories. And you two, did I say Joshua? I mean Johan, sorry. And you two, I know because you told me, you two have very crazy stories to tell. So you're going to stay with us for a little more. And we don't know anything about you yet, so it's going to be very interesting to hear some of your experiences. Welcome to chapter 4, everyone. So the true situations that we just used for a game were actually some situations that some people of our study course experienced during the semester abroad. Now for a fourth chapter, I'm going to talk a little bit with Helena and Johan, and they will share some of those also very crazy situations that they encountered. They will explain some moments that felt very surreal and strange to them. But of course, it's not only us going abroad that have certain stereotypes about others. People also have those stereotypes about Germans. Now that's why it was very interesting for us to see what international students thought of Germans before they met them for the first time and what stereotypes they maybe had. That's why we asked some very good international friends of Helena and Johan to share a little message with us and maybe explain what stereotypes they had and possibly also how they changed as they got to know them a little bit better. So, Johan, let's start out with you. You went to China, and I suppose you did have some expectations before you went there. What were some expectations or maybe thoughts that you had before, and were you proved wrong, or were you maybe proved right?
So obviously, before you go abroad into another country for such a long time, you have to do some preparation, you have to do some research, and that is also what I did. I listened to a lot of news on the radio about China. I mean, news about China, information about China, they're everywhere. And I also spoke to some classmates that went to China before me. I read the newspapers, I read online, and with all the information that I received in the end, I got a broad picture of what I was to be expected of China when going there. And my expectations can be split up into two parts, which would be positive expectations and negative expectations. For the positive, I was expecting a very fast-moving society in China, a very evolve-friendly society. I was expecting a phenomenal infrastructure. I was expecting clean cities. I was expecting high-speed trains. And I was also expecting not to bring cash anymore with me. And also, I was expecting to use one single app to just get access to the entire infrastructure, to basically just do whatever you want. Everything you want to do is basically in that app combined. You can access everything over pharmacies, doctors, teaching materials, train tickets, you can call Ubers. Everything is possible with this one platform. Cool. And I was really looking forward to these. However, before I went, I also heard about some common stereotypes, as you would say. The first one would be that Chinese street food is typically considered to be unsanitary, and you shouldn't really take a bite of Chinese street food. You should be very careful with what you eat when you are outside. However, that one wasn't the stereotype that I was most worried about. It was actually the second one, which is that Chinese people are often considered to be cold and reserved and do not really seek active engagement and are not really keen on engaging with foreigners. So me going alone into another country, to China, for the next few months, I was really troubled and worried that I would, not be able to connect in China, not find any friends, not be able to express myself, and live on my own there for the next few months. That was a big worry that I had.
Did you feel like your own behavior changed due to your maybe stereotypes or even expectations?
I certainly think so. So one thing that I realized that really helped me there was the language. So the language is key in China. Obviously, in preparation, I also tried to learn some Mandarin, and I didn't really have a choice. I had to seek engagement if I wouldn't want to be alone. So I tried to speak a little bit of Chinese to the people that I met, to my classmates, to the teachers, to the cashiers, in the cafeteria as well when I ordered food. And what I realized with that is not only did my behavior change in terms of being more confident in seeking engagement and asking strangers, but also the behavior from the Chinese towards me really changed. What I realized is that they looked at me and kind of saw me as more approachable because I was actually able to at least understand some common small talk. And so I realized that more and more Chinese people were actively trying to engage with me as they realized that I was trying to speak their language. I was trying to make an effort to fit in, to adapt to the culture, and to integrate myself in their daily life. And it was amazing to see how language could really open up a new portal. And with language, with something that you can connect with other people, you can also talk about how was your first impression of me. And that was something that we also discussed about. And one crazy example of that, for example, would be that me and a few friends that I made, we went traveling, and we went to an old, ancient Chinese city where people would wear traditional clothes, and it was that kind of theme of the China of a few thousand years back. And one funny thing there was that in the center of the city there were a few people that were dressed in traditional clothes, and they had the hand carrier where the emperor used to sit on, and they would just carry people that passed by, put them on the hand carrier, and transport them through the city. And as they spotted me as a foreigner, they were rushing towards me, and my friends were also pushing me and urging me to actually sit on that carrier. And when I sat on it, The funniest part was that they also dressed me in traditional Chinese clothes.
Full uniform?
Yes. So I also got the headwear. I got the uniform of a traditional Chinese emperor, and they carried me through the city. And in the end, there was like 50 Chinese people surrounding the carrier, taking photos of me, taking pictures, asking me stuff. So that really goes to show how not cold and not reserved the Chinese people really are, and that came through language. And I also, because of the language, figured out that not only did I have stereotypes about the Chinese, but the Chinese also had stereotypes about the Germans before they met me. And this is why I brought a short video of a good friend of mine who was also the one that pushed me on the hand carrier to talk about their stereotypes.
Okay, so let's have a little look at the video you brought.
Hello, my name is when I was a child, my teacher always told me that Germans are very punctual. Even that German trains and cars never run late. My friends always joke that they are rigid and have no sense of humor. But that changed when I met my German friend, Johanna. He totally broke my stereotypes. He's really fun. Sometimes he will be late too. And through him, I saw Germans are different. Just like us. Not just the labels we know.
I'm not going to make another joke about our train system. We have enough of those. So let's go on. Thank you so much, first of all, for bringing this video. Let's continue with Helena. So you went to Finland, and I want to ask you, was there any moment for you that maybe challenged you, even if it was in a cultural way or also in a personal way?
Okay, so Nelly and I, we went to Finland together. And first of all, I have to say that my exchange semester was phenomenal. So I had the best time of my life. I met so many wonderful people. I met so many new friends, and I'm still in contact with them. So it was just a wonderful experience. But I had like one crazy encounter that I remember vividly. I don't know if you remember that, but we were waiting on the bus. And we were with our friends, like all international friends, and the bus comes, the doors open, and before we were even able to get onto the bus driver screamed at us, like full-on screaming, that if he hears like one word out of our mouths, he's going to throw us out of the bus. And so we were all really, really shocked, like we couldn't even say anything, so we just got onto the bus. We sat down and we sat there in silence. We didn't even dare to whisper or anything. And yeah, that was a surreal experience. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can confirm that this has actually happened. And why do you think this was such a surprising situation for you? Why do you think you were surprised? And maybe also, what did you learn from the situation?
So I really did not expect the bus driver to scream at us, like out of nowhere, because I always thought that Finns would be like a lot of like chill and really friendly and like party people, especially when they're drunk, and that is true. But yeah, it just kind of showed me that I had this image of Finns in my head, or like this stereotype that they would all be friendly. And yeah, it just showed me that it's not the case for everyone. But the bus driver probably had stereotypes about us too. Like he heard us speaking English and was like, okay, they're foreigners, so they're gonna be loud. And that's why he screamed at us. I hope that was the reason. But
fair enough, we were loud, but
yeah, and this also opened a discussion, or rather like a conversation with our friends, that they also had like stereotypes about us before they got to know us a bit more. And I also brought a video of our friend Sophie. So yeah.
I'm very excited. So let's have a look at our friend Sophie's video.
Hi, I'm Rufi and I'm from Hungary. And one prejudice that I had about German people is that they are really strict rule followers and that they don't understand or don't appreciate humor that much. But I met some really nice German people and I don't think that at all anymore. I think they are really chill and that they do humor like the rest of us.
So cute. Thank you for bringing this video here.
Yeah.
It was very nice to see Jofi again.
Thanks to Jofi.
I think those were some really crazy situations that happened to the both of you. But we can't forget that we still need a name for our bridge.
Actually, that's true. Wait, so I propose that I'm going to write the name down, and in the meantime, you can explain a little bit why you chose whatever name you chose.
Okay, I thought about it and I chose the name the Heidi's Bridge.
Heidi's Bridge?
Heidi's Bridge. Okay. You know why, but I'm going to have to explain it. So in Tampere, we had a bar or like a club that was called Heidi's Beer Bar. And that was like the central meeting point of all Erasmus and international students. So we went there every month to like party, but it was also a great place to make new connections, to meet people from other countries, and we also learned like a word or a sentence in another language, and we met people from Switzerland or from France, and it was really, really cool. So Heidi's just stands for me like for connection, intercultural friendship, music, fun, dancing, and that was just all, like I would describe my exchange semester with these words, and yeah, that's why I chose it.
That's a really nice name and a really beautiful explanation. Thank you.
So I have actually finished it. It's not as beautiful as I was hoping it would be, but please put your brick right on top so we have a wonderful name for our bridge.
Yay.
We have now built the fifth part of our bridge, because reflecting on aspects of other cultures that you were not prepared for enough is a very important step and essential when being abroad. If any of you are interested in learning more about our experiences in a wide variety of cultures, you can visit the Foreignworlds website. The QR code for the website is now visible on the screens behind me. There you will find an array of blog postings made by us and the students of past years. They are part of our reflection process after our time abroad, and they help us to identify our key learnings from this time. And maybe they can also help you answer some of those questions that make you feel scared before spending some time abroad.
Thank you so much, everyone. And we want to say goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Was?
Die Learnings, oder?
Nee, Mats. Ich habe bei dir Mats 4 aufgeschrieben. Mats. So, as our peers and these videos have shown, it is always important to keep an open mind and to always be welcoming to people of other cultures. As we've now finished Chapter 4, we now want to welcome you into Chapter 5. We herefore asked some of our fellow students what impacted them the most while they were abroad and what key learnings they brought back here. Many of us experienced a more relaxed and a more optimistic lifestyle abroad. We were thinking less about work and less about university, but we were focusing more on life itself, regardless of the situation. Besides learning to live slower and more laid back, everyone got to know themselves differently. because being in a foreign country for such a long time, for several months, completely changes you as a person. And especially it changes how you deal with difficult situations in your life.
Living abroad wasn't always easy, but it most definitely helped us to grow. And additionally, it showed us that intercultural competence is not essentially something tangible that we can grasp, but more something underlying that influences our everyday life, whether that is in a personal, professional, or educational context. And through this, our term abroad became an enriching and shaping experience for us that we will continue to learn from now and in the future. And how our knowledge will profit us in the future is what Professor Dr. Kuscher will now talk about.
Because the lessons we learned during our semester abroad are not only important for university, but they're also important for a future work life. And to tell us more about that, we now want to invite Professor Dr. Kuscher on stage. Thank you so much for being here and sharing some of your knowledge with us.
You will now tell us about how our experiences abroad and work life are related, and why this and all the other important things that we have learned from you over the past 2.5 years are important for our further life.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the stage.
The stage is yours.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to begin by reminding you of a few aspects you've heard throughout your study program several times, what we try to teach you. And this is the ability to critically reflect. And I would like to reflect on today's event and then draw some conclusions why that would be important for your later professional life. First of all, I would like to reflect on what you learned about stereotypes and prejudices. I think it became clear that prejudices and stereotypes are part of our everyday life, and they tell you a lot about your cultural backpack you are carrying with you. And what you learned throughout your study, what your skills are, is being able to unpack that cultural backpack people are carrying with them. So you are able to unpack it, pack out each item and find a cultural pattern within it. And by finding them, being able to explain different prejudices, being able to change perspective, and being able to deal with them. That is one of those aspects I want to mention. And the other one is, I think it became very clear how important is a semester abroad. It is especially important for this study program, Global Communication, but it is also important for every student nowadays to gain that experience being abroad. All of you who have been abroad have grown in their personal abilities, but also you brought back a more profound professional set of skills. And this set of skills depends on what you studied abroad, but it is especially the case with regard to your intercultural skills. You've grown in your intercultural skills. You are able to be resilient when it comes to stress, uncertainty. You are able to be empathetic, to be open-minded, to address certain communication issues. And when you reflect on that, I think you answered already why this would be important and how you could use it in your later professional life. As you all know, we live in challenging times. We live in a time of crisis, of wars, of political narcissists who shout out prejudices loud and clear. And we need people like you. I think you will make a difference. You will make a difference in whatever field you choose, but you are able to translate the hidden dimension in communication. You are able to facilitate communication when it comes to misunderstandings, when it comes to a dead road in negotiations, when it comes to get an intercultural, multicultural team going. So what you learned throughout your studies will make a difference in every working setting you are choosing. So, and we will need people like you in these challenging times. So you are on the right path, keep going, and I wish you good luck for your journey, and I'm pretty sure you inspired your fellow students who are going abroad next year or the year after. And I would like to congratulate this great event, all of you, and thanks again for having me on stage.
Thank you so much.
You're
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you for your input. You're now welcome to place our last brick onto the bridge.
Yes, I do.
Yay!
Here we go.
Thank you very much. And we would now also like to invite Mrs. Deschner-Warner back on stage. Thank you to the both of you for sharing your knowledge and your experiences with us tonight here.
We have a little gift for you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
For sharing all of this knowledge. Thank you.
Our bridge has finally been completed and is called Heidi's Bridge, thanks to Helena. Our journey for tonight is over, and our Foreignworlds event of 2026 will now come to a close.
We now want to say goodbye to all of you watching our live stream. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we hope you got some valuable insights on cultural differences and on how intercultural knowledge can reduce your fears before your semester abroad.